It is mindful of a legacy of service and devotion to this country set by my beloved mother, the late Queen, that I deliver this, the first King's speech in over 70 years.
In memory of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and in the spirit of family, I long to return with Harry and our children. My heart remains tethered to the warmth of Windsor. Expected. Excerpt from Meghan Markle's private letter to Princess Anne. In a move that blindsided royal aides and reignited tensions within the House of Windsor, Meghan Markle has formally expressed her desire to return to the United Kingdom alongside Prince Harry and their two children, Archie and Lilibet, citing a wish to support her husband and honour the memory of Queen Elizabeth II. Tonight too, but insiders claim the letter, sent privately to Princess Anne just days before Christmas, carries more than warm words and nostalgia. According to senior palace sources, Meghan's message is a strategic overture designed to re-enter royal life, not as a servant of the crown, but as a savvy operator with media, legal, and financial motivations. It's a beautifully written appeal cloaked in grief, sentiment, and reconciliation, one insider close to Anne stated. But beneath the surface, it's a calculated move to reset her public image and set the stage for a future that may no longer include Harry. Dated December 22, Meghan's handwritten letter opens with an emotional tribute to the late Queen Elizabeth II. She praises the monarch's steadfast grace and matriarchal warmth, noting that her children had a right to feel connected to the family legacy their grandmother cherished. She expresses a desire to spend early 2026 inches the UK to rekindle familial bonds and to stand by Harry, whom she refers to as a man caught between past and future. But the timing and the recipient raise red flags. Why Princess Anne? Why now? Anne, known as the monarchy's most disciplined enforcer, was reportedly unmoved by the sentiment, despite her personal respect for duty and private affection for the Queen's memory. Sources say she immediately contacted Prince William to coordinate a united response. Anne sees through this, the insider confirmed. Meghan is not seeking unity, she's staging Act 1 of her exit plan. The return request comes amid what insiders call a perfect storm of financial, legal, and reputational trouble for the Sussexes. Spotify publicly cut ties with Meghan's Archetypes podcast mid-2023, and recent leaks suggest her Netflix deals are being reassessed. End quote. Sources in California confirm Meghan is not legally allowed to monetize future podcast content without violating existing intellectual property clauses. A Vanity Fair journalist recently reported that Meghan is preparing material for a post-divorce memoir allegedly backed by retained digital documentation of her marriage. And then there's the 10-year rule in California divorce law. If the Sussex marriage reaches 10 years, their anniversary is May 2028, Meghan would likely qualify for indefinite spousal support. Currently, she would only receive alimony for half the duration of the marriage, 5 years. Every move from now until that 10th year matters, a Beverly Hills divorce attorney told the Examiner. Staying visible, staying sympathetic, looking like the peacemaker, it's all part of the negotiation. Ixplan. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's situation grows more precarious. After losing a major legal battle earlier this year over taxpayer-funded security in the UK, a small legal caveat in Section 2 of the court's ruling has left a door ajar. Harry could regain protection if he resumes duties as a working royal. That clause has reignited his desire to return not just to visit, but to restore some sense of purpose and stability. He misses the uniform, the structure, the meaning, one former royal staffer said. America hasn't given him a kingdom, it gave him a media circus and a marriage that's unraveling. Despite his claims of wanting independence, insiders report Harry is privately pushing for reconciliation with his father, citing financial instability, isolation, and emotional collapse. Sources inside Clarence House describe King Charles III as torn. Though devastated by the damage Harry has caused, he remains a father and deeply influenced by his late mother's wish for family unity. Even Princess Catherine, who has often stood firmly against Meghan's post-royal behaviour, is said to be quietly supportive of Harry's return without Meghan. Catherine sees Harry as salvageable, said one royal observer, but she views Meghan as the accelerant, not the victim. Wells, well dime, but standing in the way is a growing coalition of firm voices: Anne, William, Camilla, Sophie, Edward, and now Princess Charlotte. Within hours of Meghan's letter reaching Princess Anne, a flurry of calls and briefings were conducted across Sandringham, Windsor, and Balmoral. Princess Anne and Prince William reportedly launched a coordinated strategy to shut the door firmly and permanently on Meghan's return to the firm. They're building institutional safeguards, one insider revealed. No public appearances, no titles reinstated, no return to Frogmore, no re-entry to the royal platform. A formal internal memorandum was allegedly circulated on December 24, outlining the firm's position. No member shall be reinstated without full royal service and public accountability. In quote, Camilla, though more measured in public, is deeply opposed to Meghan's reappearance, citing past personal insults, media manipulation, and the risk to public credibility. In a surprising twist, Princess Charlotte, now 10, reportedly told her mother that she misses Archie and Lily and wishes they could come home. Her innocent comment, shared at the family Christmas lunch, reportedly gave Charles pause and brought tears to Catherine's eyes. But William responded with clarity. Their parents made a choice. That choice has consequences. Following Meghan Markle's emotionally crafted letter to Princess Anne, in which she appealed for a symbolic return to the UK with Harry to honour the Queen's legacy and support her husband, the senior members of the royal family wasted no time in launching a quiet but powerful counter-effort dubbed internally as Operation Frostline. Wentaxi? The mission: ensure Meghan Markle cannot re-enter the working royal family in any capacity, no titles, no access, no platform. Led jointly by Princess Anne and Prince William, this behind-the-scenes campaign is not fueled by emotion, but by strategy designed to protect the credibility of the crown, the discipline of the firm, and the future of a monarchy, still healing from the Sussex fallout. On the morning of December 24, less than 48 hours after Meghan's letter was received, Princess Anne met with Prince William at Windsor Castle behind closed doors. The goal: preempt any move by Charles or Catherine to entertain a trial reconciliation. It mosses. According to a well-placed source, Anne presented a dossier containing public and legal records of Meghan's statements, damaging the institution. Summarized media sentiment analysis from 2000 and 2025. Private notes on security risks related to public appearances. Legal assessments on title use and constitutional implications. William, already angered by reports that Harry is using Section 2 of his lost security appeal as a legal loop to inch back into royal life, agreed to escalate resistance. That same day, the two reportedly contacted Edward and Sophie to gain consensus among the duty-first royals, Camilla, who offered unreserved support to block Meghan's return, Lord Chamberlain's office to update institutional procedures regarding press access, residence use, and event invitations for non-working members. It wasn't a family feud meeting, it was an institutional crisis meeting, the insider said. Anne didn't flinch. She came in with a plan. Anne and William's second objective was logistical containment, ensuring Meghan and Harry could not casually drift back into royal visibility. Key moves reportedly included revoking soft access to Frogmore Cottage for 2026, updating royal guest lists for public events to exclude non-working members by default, blocking any royal titles from being used in media promotions, interviews, or book releases, On December 25, a private circular was issued across royal communications teams declaring that no re-entry is possible without public accountability and formal service commitments. This move was significant. In essence, it eliminates any grey zone, removing the possibility for Meghan to appear at events unofficially or under the vague banner of honouring the Queen. It cuts the ambiguity. One former courtier noted, there is no soft return, no symbolic guest role, no vague honorary presence. It's all or nothing. And the family has chosen nothing. One of the most poignant moments came during the Christmas Day private luncheon at Sandringham. According to two guests present, Princess Charlotte, now 10, quietly asked her mother, "Will Archie and Lily be coming next Christmas?" The room reportedly fell into a brief, tense silence. Catherine replied softly, "Not this year." William, overhearing the exchange, was said to have looked away before quietly saying, "Choices have consequences." This moment highlighted the generational tension emerging within the family. Charlotte, raised with strong royal values but also empathy, represents a bridge between two worlds. But William remains clear. No more chaos, no more loopholes. A flash YouGov poll conducted on December 26 found that 63% of Britons support a full royal separation from Harry and Meghan. Only 18% support a potential return for Meghan. 73% believe the Queen would not approve of the couple using her legacy as leverage. It's not about forgiveness, one royal historian said. It's about function. You can't serve two systems, one that's duty-bound, one that's profit-driven, and expect no consequences. In Quotely, royal aides believe Meghan's letter was not a spontaneous act of grief, but part of a broader narrative strategy. Position herself as the devoted wife, ready to support a fragile husband. Use the Queen's legacy as moral cover for re-entry. Set up a future exit narrative where she appears to have tried reconciliation before being rejected. This image can then be monetized in memoirs, speaking engagements, and brand expansion, especially if timed with a strategic separation from Harry in 2026 or 2027. One official called it emotional blackmail in the language of diplomacy. While Charles and Catherine may still feel emotional pull, the firm is shifting into defensive mode, and Operation Frostline is just the beginning. The next steps may include formal title restrictions, a royal statement clarifying the boundaries, a sunset clause on Sussex, foundation activities using royal branding, the broken chain, how the Queen's legacy is now a battlefield, and why Charles may be forced to choose. For decades, Queen Elizabeth II was more than a monarch. She was a symbol of continuity, restraint, and duty. Her quiet strength held the crown together through wars, divorces, and scandals. But in the years since her death, her name has become a contested asset, one that's now being invoked, not to unify, but to manipulate. Nowhere is this more evident than in Meghan Markle's December 2025 letter to Princess Anne, a letter that, while cloaked in affection, uses the Queen's legacy as emotional currency. "The Queen adored family," Meghan wrote. "Her love for Harry and for our children was never in doubt. I hope to honour her by reconnecting with those she held dear." It's now its spinkly debut. But to many inside the palace, this isn't a tribute. It's calculated weaponization of grief, a last-ditch attempt to reposition Meghan as the guardian of Elizabeth's values, while the very institution the Queen built is being undermined by that narrative. Palace insiders are now releasing selective insights from the late Queen's final months, including diary entries and private notes that reflect a woman deeply troubled by her grandson's choices. "Duty must outlast personality," she reportedly wrote in August 2022. The crown does not bend to disappointment, nor to rebellion disguised as independence. One former advisor recalls a conversation with Her Majesty shortly before her death, in which she expressed worry for Harry but doubt about Meghan's long-term role in royal life. "I believe Harry may return," she said quietly, "but I fear it will be too late." This betrays it. In the wake of Meghan's letter and the backlash it sparked within the family, King Charles III now finds himself pulled in two directions. On one side, his duty to uphold his mother's legacy and protect the monarchy from exploitation. On the other, his role as a father watching his youngest son unravel under pressure, isolation, and media fatigue. Sources close to Clarence House confirm that Charles paused scheduled meetings on December 26 to hold a private consultation with his legal and spiritual advisors, reportedly asking, "Is there a way to acknowledge his pain without compromising the institution?" His Christmas Day speech, broadcast just a day earlier, now reads in a more conflicted light. His call for reflection, reconciliation, and resilience, which once seemed poetic, is now being seen as a veiled reference to Harry. Insiders confirm no decision has been made. But Charles is listening to both sides. For Harry, the return to England represents more than geography. It's a desperate reach for identity. After losing the legal battle over state security, yet gaining a small clause in the verdict that allows reconsideration if royal duties are resumed, Harry saw a flicker of hope. But instead of walking through that door alone, he's now seen as dragging Meghan with him, reigniting distrust. He wants structure, said one former aide. He misses the rhythm of service, the camaraderie, the sense of purpose. But he cannot seem to separate that from Meghan, and that's the real tragedy. Multiple insiders say Harry has privately expressed doubts about his marriage, but feels too exposed to retreat, too humiliated to admit defeat. He once said he admired Princess Diana's bold independence, her willingness to abandon titles and choose love. Now, observers say he is stuck in a twisted echo of her path, not empowered, but adrift and bitter. Behind the emotional overtures lies a hard commercial reality. Meghan's brand is struggling, and her marriage, if it ends, must yield a narrative she can own and monetize. Legal analysts point to California's 10-year marriage threshold for long-term alimony. The Sussexes will mark 7 years in May 2025, meaning the next 3 years are critical for Meghan. She's buying time, rebuilding sympathy, and positioning herself as the reasonable one, a media strategist said. Once she exits, she'll have the upper hand. End quote. Rated Rs. That strategy includes privately storing documents, texts, recordings, and diary entries. Hiring new literary and legal representation, quietly confirmed this month. Pitching a post-divorce memoir framed as Lessons in Love, Loss, and Liberation. This would follow in the footsteps of Sarah Ferguson, who has survived on memoirs, reality appearances, and personal branding tied to her royal past, often without royal approval. Meghan is staging her second act, said one biographer, and Harry may be the cliffhanger. As of December 27, the monarchy is unofficially split into two camps. The empathy wing, Charles and Catherine, seek emotional resolution, particularly for Harry, would cautiously allow Harry to return in a non-working, family-only role. Hope to preserve Queen Elizabeth's image as a unifier. The defensive bloc, Anne, William, Camilla, Edward, Sophie, Charlotte, view Meghan as an existential threat to the firm. Advocate zero tolerance for re-entry without accountability. Push for institutional boundaries that outlast sentiment. Even Princess Charlotte, normally silent in public affairs, has now shown maturity beyond her years, expressing sadness for her cousins, but standing firm with her father. One aide reports she told William, "You protect us. I know you're doing the right thing, even if it's hard." Is Frangit. As January 2026 approaches, key decisions loom. Will Charles issue a formal clarification on Meghan's request? Will Harry be granted limited re-entry under the terms of Section 2? Will Meghan escalate her exit strategy, using rejection as her launchpad? Behind the curtain of emotional appeals and royal negotiations, a new risk looms, one that could not only destroy any chance of Prince Harry rejoining royal life, but also further fracture the monarchy's fragile image. Multiple publishing insiders and legal sources have confirmed that Meghan Markle is actively preparing material for a tell-all memoir, which insiders say will not only chronicle her version of life inside the firm, but strategically expose her marriage from a position of emotional and legal advantage. It's not a diary, one literary agent warned. It's a blueprint, structured, documented, and dangerously timed. Matchclo, the book's working theme? Witness and Wife, a journey through love, power, and silence. Underscription. According to 3 sources close to Meghan's media circle, the Duchess has compiled years of personal content, voice memos detailing emotional incidents and arguments, archived texts and emails involving royal aides and Harry himself, notes from therapy sessions and spiritual advisors, selective screenshots from conflicts about parenting, press control, and money. While some of these materials were first hinted at in the Netflix docuseries back in 2022, newer content reportedly centers on Harry's vulnerabilities, episodes of emotional instability, past admissions of substance use, comments about family members that may be deemed politically damaging. One anonymous source described the archive as a survival file disguised as a memoir project. Meghan doesn't need to use all of it, just enough to control the narrative, just enough to win sympathy and credibility. Meghan's preparations aren't just creative, they're legally calibrated. Her team, including a new Los Angeles-based attorney who specializes in marital dissolution and intellectual property, has allegedly advised her to delay any formal separation until after May 2028, the couple's 10-year anniversary, to qualify for potential indefinite spousal support under California law. Position the memoir not as revenge, but as civic contribution to women's narratives in elite institutions. Retain control over Archewell-adjacent assets by asserting intellectual contribution. The royal marriage is no longer just emotional or ceremonial, one attorney explained. It's a portfolio. Meghan is securing exit equity. I was affid. And in a move eerily reminiscent of Sarah Ferguson's post-divorce survival tactic, Meghan is reportedly planning a multimedia rollout, interviews, exclusive footage, and possibly a live-streamed conversation with a female media titan speculated to be either Oprah Winfrey or Michelle Obama. While King Charles and Catherine may still be entertaining the possibility of Harry's quiet return, Meghan's memoir could detonate any such attempt before it even begins. 3 key risks. Public exposure of private royal conversations. The memoir could reveal previously undocumented conversations between Harry and his father, brother, and even the late Queen, reigniting global scrutiny and institutional distrust. Permanent loss of royal trust. Any use of private messages or audio recordings will instantly confirm Meghan was documenting her life behind palace walls with intent, validating years of suspicion among senior royals. Political pressure. Depending on content related to Commonwealth nations, race, or foreign policy perception, the monarchy may face diplomatic embarrassment, forcing Charles to distance himself fully from Harry. The moment that book goes to print, one palace advisor said, there is no path back for either of them, not as royals, not as a family. Those close to Harry say he's unaware of the full scope of Meghan's literary planning, or perhaps in denial. Some aides believe he still thinks reconciliation is possible, both with his wife and his family. But Meghan's maneuvering has created a paradox. The more she prepares for a powerful exit, the more she undermines Harry's only route to stability, a return to the institution she seeks to escape. Harry is fighting for a door that Meghan is quietly sealing shut behind him, said one former equerry. Learning of the manuscript through private intelligence shared by former Sussex staff, William and Anne have accelerated legal and procedural reforms inside the palace. These include a new royal NDA framework to prevent further internal leaks, updated rules around archival access and personal image use, a potential formal statement in early 2026 that will permanently define the royal status of Harry and Meghan as separate from the crown. The firm now sees Meghan's memoir not as a media event, but as a direct institutional threat. As 2026 looms, Harry faces an impossible crossroads. Continue pursuing royal reintegration, risking embarrassment if the memoir leaks. Break publicly with Meghan, a move that could cost him both emotionally and financially. Do nothing, allowing both sides to collapse under the weight of indecision. The monarchy, meanwhile, braces for a second Spare, only this time authored by someone who never belonged but always claimed she did. While the Sussex drama has long been viewed through the lens of senior figures Charles, Anne, William, and Camilla, a new, unexpected chorus is shaping the royal response. From Prince Edward and Sophie's quiet firmness to Princess Charlotte's poignant clarity, the extended royal family is beginning to draw clear red lines around what it means to be royal and what cannot be tolerated. The soft-spoken members of the monarchy have now stepped into focus, offering the emotional spine and moral compass of an institution struggling to evolve without being exploited. Often seen as the invisible royals, the Earl and Countess of Wessex have for years been the most consistent and controversy-free pair within the family. But that silence has never meant passivity. After the release of Meghan's letter to Anne and the looming threat of a memoir, Edward and Sophie broke their internal silence, speaking candidly during a December 26 family council at Sandringham. According to a senior aide present at the meeting, Edward was direct. "It's not cruel to say no. It's consistent. We owe that to the Queen and to ourselves." Sophie, always tactful, reportedly added, "The danger isn't just what Meghan says. It's what she normalizes: exploitation of titles, monetization of memory. If we don't draw the line now, there will be no line left to draw." Their voices strengthened the William-Anne coalition, sealing an internal consensus. Meghan cannot return, not even temporarily, and any re-entry attempt by Harry must be conditional, limited, and publicly clarified. In what palace insiders are calling the most emotional moment of the holiday, 10-year-old Princess Charlotte, known for her sharp memory and emotional intelligence, spoke during the Boxing Day lunch at Windsor. After overhearing a conversation between Catherine and Charles regarding Archie and Lilibet's future, Charlotte reportedly interrupted, "I hope they're safe. I hope they're happy. But I don't think they can come back if they're going to hurt us again." The table fell silent. William, normally guarded, reportedly looked at his daughter and replied, "Thank you for saying that." Catherine later confided to her sister Pippa that she was stunned by the clarity of Charlotte's thinking. The young princess, raised in the heart of duty, already understands what's at stake not just for her family, but for the institution she is destined to serve. Following leaked reports of Edward, Sophie, and Charlotte's contributions to the family meeting, public sentiment in the UK has dramatically shifted in favour of the silent strength wing of the monarchy. An overnight poll by Ipsos on December 27 revealed 71% of respondents support Edward and Sophie's stance on blocking Meghan's return. 68% of women aged 30-45 identified Charlotte as a future role model for young royal women. 81% of respondents believe the Queen would have sided with Anne and William. Media headlines have also shifted tone. The Times, Sophie's line in the sand. Daily Mail, Charlotte speaks and a nation listens. The Telegraph, Wessex wisdom. How Edward became the royal centre of gravity. Sources say that despite this wave of public support for the no-return stance, King Charles remains hesitant to issue a public decree. His emotional conflict with Harry, coupled with Meghan's clever use of the Queen's memory, has paralysed his decision-making. But with Anne, William, Edward, Sophie, and now even Charlotte aligned, the internal pressure is growing. Camilla reportedly told aides, "The Queen wouldn't have waited this long. It's time. In when to date to?" And while Charles continues to deliberate, palace aides have already begun updating protocols to reflect what's being described internally as the new Wessex doctrine. No media cooperation with non-working royals. No ceremonial invitations for couples not in active service. Mandatory disclosure of commercial projects involving royal branding. As of December 27, Meghan has not responded publicly to the reactions her letter has stirred. But insiders say she was surprised by the involvement of Edward and Sophie, whom she once viewed as neutral or non-threatening. She underestimated their influence, one Sussex-adjacent PR consultant admitted. She saw them as background figures, but they've become the moral core. With each passing day, Meghan's options dwindle. The letter once positioned as a sentimental plea now appears more like a failed gambit, and with Charlotte's words echoing across headlines, Meghan faces a reality she may not have planned for. She cannot return, not even as a mother, not even as a mourner. At exactly 9 a.m. GMT on December 27, Buckingham Palace released a short but seismic statement. Only 186 words in length, yet its implications were as weighty as any royal decree in modern memory. The royal household affirms its enduring commitment to duty, service, and constitutional clarity. No member of the family may represent the crown without formal appointment and active service. Private individuals, including the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, remain outside the institutional structure of the monarchy. This position is final and requires no further interpretation. No names, no direct accusations. But the message was unmistakable. The door is shut. The Sussex chapter is closed. Internally referred to for weeks as Operation Frostline, the quiet resistance led by Princess Anne and Prince William has now transitioned from private coordination to public doctrine. The statement reflects a culmination of Meghan's controversial letter to Anne, the leak of her alleged memoir preparations, growing pressure from Edward, Sophie, and Charlotte, rising public support for a firm, disciplined monarchy. This official language now codifies what Anne and William have enforced quietly for months. The monarchy will not be emotionally extorted, commercially diluted, or politically manipulated. This is not personal, one palace source said. It's institutional survival. Though Charles didn't appear publicly to deliver the statement, palace insiders confirmed he personally approved every word and insisted on removing emotionally charged language. Aides close to him say the king has been visibly torn between his loyalty to Queen Elizabeth's memory of unity and his duty to uphold the monarchy's integrity. According to a source from Clarence House, Charles remarked privately, "Let this be the last scar. I will not let the crown bleed again." Though emotionally fatigued, his decision signals that the weight of royal continuity has finally eclipsed paternal hesitation. As of December 27 afternoon, no public response has been issued by the Sussexes. Their Montecito spokesperson declined media requests, saying only, "No comment at this time. The family remains focused on private matters." But royal watchers say Harry has now been boxed in completely. Re-entry into royal life is no longer an option. Public support for him is evaporating. Meghan's strategic silence or looming memoir suggests divergent priorities within their marriage. A former royal equerry told the BBC, "This is not exile. It's abandonment by choice. Harry bet on love, and the institution bet on structure. Both have now accepted the cost." Unlike the explosive media cycles of 2021 or 2022, this week's public reaction has been measured and mature. Polling across major UK outlets shows 79% of respondents support the palace's stance. 65% believe the Queen would have approved the statement. 74% believe no further comment should be made by the Sussexes. Opinion leaders across the political spectrum praised the royal household for protecting legacy over sentiment. Headlines included The Guardian, "Measured and Merciful", Daily Mail, "The Final Boundary", The Times, "A Monarchy Restored by its Core." Though she had no hand in the drafting of the statement, Princess Charlotte's words from Boxing Day continue to resonate, especially among younger Britons. Clips of commentators quoting her line, "I don't think they can come back if they're going to hurt us again," have gone viral on social media, with many praising the young royal for articulating what the institution could not say aloud for years. In her, many now see the promise of a future monarchy that is both emotionally intelligent and institutionally resilient. As the sun set over Windsor Castle on December 27, the royal family gathered quietly without Harry, without Meghan for the annual post-Christmas reflection service in St George's Chapel. According to attendees, no one spoke of the statement. But as the organ fell silent and the last hymn faded, Princess Anne reportedly placed a single white rose beneath a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, whispering just 4 words: "We kept your line." Christus, the Sussex saga may not be over in the media, in books, or in cultural debates, but within the House of Windsor, the matter is settled. The Queen's legacy has been redefined not by rebellion or rupture, but by restraint, resistance, and red lines held firm.